When you are in a sales call, let's say you're prospecting from scratch or in a meeting with a customer, you are not supposed to be dominating the conversation yourself. Most of the salespeople, we get ourselves in a trap whereby we want to sound smart, where we want to talk about our company, where we want to talk about our products, how they're nice, who has used our products before. That is not necessary. When you get into sales, you're more like a doctor. If you're more like a doctor, you are there to understand the pains of a customer, and you have to come with a right solution. And most importantly, if you don't ask questions, you end up actually giving a wrong solution. And when you give a wrong solution, you end up with an unsatisfied customer. When you end up with an unsatisfied customer, that customer won't give you referrals, won't give you second sales. Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jerry More Nyazungu, aka the Chartered Vendor. Welcome to the Chartered Vendor podcast, where we talk about everything business, everything sales, everything entrepreneurship. And I'm super excited. I'll be in Zambia this week as well to talk to my fellow Zambians. I think we last met on the Why African, not why by the way, Africa Must Think by my brother Dumisani. It was an exciting, incredible event. Thanks, guys, for supporting him. About around 20,000 people showed up for the event. Thank you so much. So today, I just want to share about sales. And I've noticed that in my trainings, I don't know how I will actually have to deliver that message. I don't know how I will be able to deliver that message. And the message is, when you are in a sales call, let's say you're prospecting from scratch or in a meeting with a customer, you are not supposed to be dominating the conversation yourself. Most of the salespeople, we get ourselves in a trap whereby we want to sound smart, where we want to talk about our company, where we want to talk about our products, how they're nice, who has used our products before. That is not necessary. What you're supposed to do when you get in on a sales call, the most important thing and the most fundamental thing, the key thing to do is to ask questions. And when I'm saying asking questions, we are simply saying you must ask what? Questions. And instead of talking too much, ask questions. Why asking questions is very important. Asking questions helps you to do what is called active listening. What it simply means is I can listen better to what the client is actually saying. By active listening, I can follow on what the client is actually saying. You ever notice that when someone is speaking, you can say you can say you can ask. You can also show them by some sounds, like if it's over the phone, you're saying yes, exactly. Okay, how many kids do you have? Oh wow, you're getting it. That's active listening. So active listening also helps you to build what? Trust. Then, most importantly, why asking questions? Remember, when you're selling to a customer is going to buy from you when they notice that you understand their pains. If you don't understand their pains, they're never going to buy from you. So it's about understanding them rather than preaching what you have. And remember, when you're selling, you're more like a doctor. A doctor asks questions and they'll come with a prescription, not the other way around. It's not a doctor who is going to say, I've got all the pills here, my hospital is the best, I've got the best degree in the town. No, what we want is a situation whereby you're asking quality and not asking any questions, but quality questions, which will make the customer see where their pains are. Sometimes a customer actually has got low sales. I've had many conversations with customers who are having low sales. And when you ask them, why do you think you've got low sales? They'll say, no, things have changed. The economy is difficult. It's zig, it's kwacha. It's the politics of the country. But to the contrary, it's not all that. So when you start asking them, how many calls are your people making? 2. How many meetings are your people making in a week? 5. How many are your salespeople? 10. So if they're making 5 meetings in a week, so what are the 10 salespeople doing? Then they'll start getting the insights now. Because why? I'm asking questions. So when you ask questions, you are able to come up with a solution for your customer. But if you don't ask questions, you are never going to come with solutions for your customers.
The chartered vendor. Chartered, it simply means the experience which I got from the workplace and through formal education. Vendor, it simply means that I was once a vendor selling sweets, selling bananas on the streets. Combined, it makes the chartered vendor. Many people complain, they think that you need monetary capital to start a business. Contrary to that, I only started my business with only a laptop. If you want to know more about my story, grab your copy.
Why do we ask questions? In order to fact find, to see where the problem is. Remember, you're a consultant. When you get into sales, you're more like a doctor. If you're more like a doctor, you are there to understand the pains of a customer, and you have to come with a right solution. So when you're also asking, you need to ask even open-ended questions so that customers, they can explain when did they start, how were they actually making their sales strategy, where they think where are they getting all these problems, where are the problems actually coming from. So it's asking questions allows you to maneuver, allows you to also get where the problem is. Then why do you also have to ask questions? There's a reason why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. What God was simply saying is, you mustn't talk too much. You must listen. And if you notice, the person who is asking questions is the one who is in control. Whether it's on the call, on the email, on WhatsApp, or in a meeting, the person who is asking questions is the one who is in control. If the client is asking you questions, it means the client is the one who is selling. So I usually say, even on the call, I should be controlling the conversation to the extent that I'm supposed to be the one who ends that call. So whoever is in control, remember, in any organization, you've got a sales process. Let's say you sell a software. If you sell a software, you need to probably fact find, you do a demo, you do a proposal. If the client is going to ask you questions, probably the question he's going to ask is, how much is it? When they ask you how much is it, it's done. You're out of the game. But if they ask how much is it, you're now forced to give the price probably too early. So the issue is about, you need to be in control. You need to control the narrative. So why are you asking questions? You need to be in control. So whoever is asking questions is the one who is in control, is the one who is shaping the narrative. Remember also, you've got a sales process in your organization. We want to follow that sales process, but you're never going to follow that sales process if the customer is the one who is in control. So remember, when you're in every sales situation, remember to always ask quality questions. And why asking questions is pivotal and is important. When you're also asking questions, it helps you. Because most of the times I've noticed that customer can pay. If a customer pays today, they are now expecting a miracle. They are now expecting you to give you the service which they have actually required, or the product. And most importantly, if you don't ask questions, you end up giving a wrong solution. And when you give a wrong solution, you end up with a unsatisfied customer. When you end up with an unsatisfied customer, that customer won't give you referrals, won't give you second sales. So asking questions. When you want to be a good salesperson, the first thing which I want to teach you is learn to ask questions. Learn to ask quality questions. And when you're asking questions, remember, it's not an interrogation, it's a conversation. So next time, when we're going to cover on how you're supposed to be asking questions, how you can create a conversation with your client. But remember, most importantly in this podcast is to say why asking questions is important. Whoever is going to ask questions is the one who's controlling the narrative. is the one who is in control, is the one who is actually digging information and to come up with the right solution for the customer. Thank you so much. Until next time, it's Jerry More Nyazungu out.